There's an ancient truth that modern society has buried under layers of taboo, shame, and ignorance. The fire that burns within you is not an enemy to be extinguished, but the very source of your vitality, your metabolic power, and your transformative potential. Have you ever wondered why, after ejaculation, you experience that inexplicable energy crash, as if something essential has been ripped from your cells, leaving your body in a state of lethargy that can last for days? It's not a coincidence, it's not superstition, it's pure science, disguised as an age-old mystery. Napoleon Hill, the man who unlocked the secrets of the millionaire mind, discovered something few dare to admit: sexual energy is the most potent force residing within a human being, and when wasted unconsciously, it drains not only your emotional and mental vitality, but literally sabotages your cellular metabolism, turning a warrior into an energetic zombie. Today you'll discover how semen retention isn't just an ancient spiritual practice, but a metabolic revolution that can completely rewrite how your body processes energy, builds muscle, burns fat, and regenerates itself. But before we delve into this journey of internal alchemy, let me shatter an illusion that keeps you trapped. You've been conditioned to believe that sexual desire is something to be satisfied immediately, like hunger or thirst. The pornography industry, social media algorithms, and the entire culture of instant gratification conspire to make you waste this sacred energy in a vain and compulsive pursuit of temporary relief. Every time you succumb to this automatic cycle, you're literally robbing yourself of the raw materials of your own greatness. Semen is not just reproductive fluid. Within this seemingly simple substance lies a biochemical universe of unimaginable power. Each ejaculation releases between 200 and 500 million sperm, each carrying not only genetic material but an extraordinary concentration of nutrients that took weeks for your body to produce. Zinc, selenium, vitamin C, complex proteins, essential amino acids, anabolic hormones, all these elements are ripped from your system in seconds of pleasure that leave you metabolically impoverished for days. But here's the secret that Eastern tradition discovered millennia ago, and that modern science is only beginning to validate. When you consciously retain this energy, something extraordinary happens at the cellular level. Your body, instead of constantly expending precious resources, replenishing what's been lost, redirects all that biochemical power towards internal optimization processes. It's as if you stopped having an energy leak, and suddenly all that force transforms into fuel for a supercharged metabolic engine. Ancient Taoists called this cultivating essence. Practitioners of brahmacharya in India knew that preserving hojas, the vital essence, was the path to unshakable energy. They didn't know the biochemical details, but they intuited a profound truth. Retained sexual energy transforms into physical vitality, mental clarity, and a personal magnetism that transcends any superficial explanation. When you consciously practice semen retention, your endocrine system undergoes a silent revolution. Testosterone, instead of experiencing the dramatic highs and lows of the ejaculation depletion recovery cycle, stabilizes at optimized levels. But it's not just testosterone. The entire hormonal axis recalibrates, growth hormone increases, cortisol balances, insulin becomes more efficient, and the thyroid functions like a finely tuned engine. Imagine your metabolism as a furnace. In most men, this furnace burns inconsistently, sometimes high, sometimes low, always wasting energy on unnecessary processes. Semen retention is like tuning that furnace for perfect and consistent combustion. Every calorie you consume is used with maximum efficiency. Every workout you do yields amplified results. Every hour of sleep becomes more restorative because your body isn't wasting resources on constant seminal replenishment. But let me be clear about something fundamental. This is not a journey of repression, but of transmutation. The warrior who masters his sexual energies is not the one who denies his nature, but the one who understands that there's something much bigger at stake than a few seconds of fleeting pleasure. Is the one who realizes that true masculinity isn't measured by how often he ejaculates, but by his ability to consciously channel the most powerful force within him. Napoleon Hill discovered, by studying hundreds of successful men, that they all had something in common. They had learned to transmute their sexual energy into creative ambition. They weren't sexually repressed men. They weren't men who understood that the same energy that could be wasted on instant gratification could be redirected to build empires, create works of art, and revolutionize entire industries. And here's where modern science impressively confirms ancient wisdom. Recent research shows that men who practice periods of sexual abstinence experience significant increases in muscle protein synthesis, bone density, cardiovascular capacity, and, most importantly, overall metabolic efficiency. It's not magic, it's optimized biology. When you retain your vital essence, your body begins to function as it was designed to function in times of greatest evolutionary need. Your hunter-gatherer ancestors didn't have constant access to sexual gratification. They needed all their energy, focus, and vitality to survive and thrive. And that's exactly what happens when you stop constantly draining your resources. You awaken the sleeping warrior within your cells. The turbocharged metabolism that results from semen retention isn't just about burning more calories or building muscle faster, although that certainly happens. It's about awakening a state of vitality that transcends the physical and manifests in every aspect of your existence. Your mind becomes sharper, your reflexes faster, your presence more magnetic. You begin to radiate an energy that people feel, even without knowing how to explain it. Has the secret of high performance, conscious retention. But here's the crucial point that separates ordinary men from extraordinary ones, the quality of your retention. It's not enough to simply abstain. That's like trying to drive a Ferrari with the emergency brake on. The real alchemy happens when you learn to consciously circulate this energy throughout your system, transforming it from primal urge into focused power. Eastern traditions have developed sophisticated techniques for this: conscious breathing, targeted meditation, specific physical exercises that move sexual energy through the body's meridians, transforming it into distributed vitality. When you master these practices, retention ceases to be a willpower struggle and becomes a natural process of energy optimization. And this is where I need to pause our journey for something crucial. If this revelation is resonating with you, if you feel you finally found the missing piece of the puzzle of your vitality and personal power, then you need to ensure you never miss out on content of this depth again. Subscribe to this channel now and hit the notification bell, because what you're discovering today is only the beginning of a transformation that can completely redefine who you are as a man. There are men who spend their entire lives searching for these truths in expensive books, superficial courses, and fake gurus, while you have direct access to knowledge that can change your reality in weeks. Don't let the algorithm decide if you'll continue to evolve. Subscribe now, Because your most powerful version depends on the decisions you make right now. Returning to our exploration, when you begin to experience the effects of conscious retention, something fascinating happens at the cellular level. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses of each cell, begin to function with an efficiency you've never experienced before. It's as if every cell in your body has been connected to a premium energy source instead of the low-grade fuel most men use. But there's an even deeper aspect of this transformation. That few understand seminal retention doesn't just improve your physical metabolism. It literally recalibrates your emotional and mental metabolism. The same energy you were wasting in compulsive cycles of arousal and depletion becomes available for higher processes of creativity, intuition, and presence. Napoleon Hill realized that the most successful men possessed an indefinable quality called personal magnetism. They'd walk into a room, and people would naturally gravitate towards them. They'd speak, and others would instinctively listen. It wasn't artificial charisma or persuasion techniques. It was something more primal and powerful, the natural radiation of unwasted vital energy. When you consciously retain your essence, you develop the same magnetic quality. Your voice becomes deeper and more resonant. Your eyes gain an intensity that people feel without knowing how to explain it. Your physical presence becomes more solid, more trustworthy, more inspiring. And all of this happens natural, as a byproduct of you stopping the leakage of precious energy into empty gratifications. From a purely biological standpoint, seminal retention creates a hormonal state that nature reserves for alpha males, those who need to be at the peak of their performance to lead, protect, and thrive. Your dopamine levels balance out, ending the dramatic highs and lows that characterize cycles of pornography addiction. Your serotonin stabilizes, creating a natural state of confidence and well-being that doesn't depend on external stimuli. But perhaps the most revolutionary aspect is what happens to your focus. Sexual energy is, at its core, concentrated creative energy. When you constantly waste it, you lose not only physical vitality, but literally your ability to maintain sustained attention on anything that requires prolonged mental effort. That's why men addicted to pornography and masturbation frequently report difficulties concentrating, chronic procrastination, and a general feeling of living in a mental fog. Retention reverses this process completely. Week after week, you notice your ability to deeply focus on important tasks increases exponentially. Projects that once seemed overwhelming become stimulating challenges. Goals that seemed impossible become inevitable when you direct towards them the same energetic intensity you were previously wasting in compulsive cycles. And here we arrive at the heart of the transmutation that Napoleon Hill discovered. Retained and consciously directed sexual energy becomes the fuel for all your highest ambitions. Every desire you don't waste on instant gratification accumulates as focused power for your real goals. It's literally alchemy, transforming the lead of primal urge into the gold of conscious achievement. But there's a shadow on this journey that needs to be acknowledged and integrated. The initial stages of seminal retention can be challenging not only physically but psychologically. You're breaking neural patterns that have been reinforced for years or decades. Your brain, accustomed to regular dopamine discharges, may initially resist with anxiety, irritability, or even temporary depression. It's at these moments that many men give up, interpreting the symptoms as signs that the practice is harmful, when in reality they are just indications that an addictive system is being detoxified. It's like an alcoholic experiencing withdrawal symptoms, uncomfortable but necessary for real healing. The key is to understand that you are literally reprogramming your biology at a fundamental level. Every day you persist strengthens new neural circuits of self-discipline and conscious energy direction. Every moment of discomfort you endure without surrendering to old patterns is an investment in a version of yourself that most men will never know. As weeks pass, and something extraordinary begins to emerge, you'll find waking up easier, as your body no longer expends constant energy on seminal replenishment. Your workouts become more intense and productive. The energy previously wasted is now available for muscle building. Your digestion improves, your skin clears, your hair strengthens, all outward signs of heightened internal efficiency. But perhaps the most powerful indicator is what happens to your relationship with fear. Men who constantly drain their vital energy live in a subtle yet persistent state of existential anxiety. They sense, even unconsciously, that they're squandering something precious, and this underlying guilt manifests as lack of confidence, avoidance of necessary risks, chronic procrastination. Conscious retention dissolves this underlying anxiety. You know, on a deep cellular level, that you're preserving and directing your life force in the wisest way possible. This creates unshakable confidence that radiates into all your decisions and actions. You become the kind of man others look to for leadership, because they instinctively sense you possess something they've long lost. This transformative process isn't linear or predictable. Some men experience dramatic changes in days, others take months to realize the deeper benefits. But all who sincerely persevere report the same fundamental revolution, the feeling of finally living with their full vital energy instead of a drained, diminished version of themselves. This leads to the spiritual aspect, transcending purely biological discussion. Deep traditions have always understood that sexual energy is the physical manifestation of something far vaster, the universe's creative force expressed through human biology. When you consciously honor and direct this force, you're literally collaborating with creation's most fundamental processes. This isn't mystical romanticization. It's recognizing that you carry the same energy that creates life, and that this energy can create not just biological life, but life in its highest forms: art, business, deep relationships, significant contributions to the world. Napoleon Hill observed that highly successful men possessed an almost supernatural ability to maintain intense focus on their goals for extended periods. They didn't scatter in 1,000 directions. They chose one and directed all their vital force toward it until it manifested in reality. The source of this focus was invariably the conscious mastery of their sexual energy. When you master seminal retention, you develop this same ability. Your goals cease being vague ideas and become inevitable realities, because you're fueling them with the most potent force within you. Each day you keep your vital essence directed toward your goals is a day you invest your purest creative power in your own evolution. As months turn into years of conscious practice, you become a force of nature in human form, not through arrogance or aggression, but through the natural radiation of unwasted vital energy. You become the kind of man who inspires others simply by fully existing, because they sense in your presence what's possible when someone stops leaking their life force and learns to consciously direct it. But perhaps the deepest benefit is the transformed relationship you develop with yourself. Instead of being a slave to unconscious impulses, you become the conscious master of your own energy. Instead of wasting your most precious force in compulsive cycles that leave you empty and ashamed, you transform it into the fuel of your greatness. This is true masculine freedom, not the license to do whatever your primitive biology demands, but the power to consciously choose how to direct the most powerful force you possess. It's the difference between being an animal reacting to stimuli and a conscious creator shaping your reality through intelligent mastery of your own energies. And so we reach the end of this journey of revelation, but the beginning of your personal transformation. You now possess knowledge that can revolutionize not just your physical metabolism, but the entire quality of your existence. You know that within you resides a power most men waste without even realizing what they're missing. The question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will it become just another interesting piece of information you forget in a few days, or will you have the courage to implement these truths in your life and discover for yourself the extraordinary man you always had the potential to be? The choice is yours. But know that every day you delay this decision is a day you continue wasting the raw material of your own greatness. Every moment you remain stuck in old patterns is a moment you choose a diminished version of yourself over the version that could move mountains. The warrior who masters his sexual energy doesn't deny his nature. It transcends it. It doesn't repress his power. It directs it. It doesn't live in shame of his impulses. It transforms them into the driving force of his conscious evolution. This is the invitation that resonates through the centuries, whispered by all the great masters who discovered this secret. Stop wasting your vital essence and begin investing it in the man you came here to be. The fire that burns within you is not your enemy, it's your greatest gift, waiting to be directed toward purposes worthy of your true nature. The transformation starts now. The metabolic revolution begins today. The man you always knew you could be is waiting on the other side of your next conscious decision. And that decision can't be put off until tomorrow, because tomorrow is just today in disguise. Awaken the power within, channel your strength. Become the man the world needs you to be. Your vital energy isn't a resource to be wasted. It's the most sacred investment you can make in your own extraordinary destiny.